In late 2021, the marketing department at Barnhart Crane and Rigging received a brief message from the engineering manager at a plant in southern New Jersey. The plant was looking for rigging support while repairs were made to their 2 vertical scrubber units on site. The scrubbers, also known as spray dryer absorbers, were at one time considered the best pollution controls available in the country for coal-fired power stations. Looking for a solution, our customer reached out to their neighbor, Salem Nuclear, for a recommendation. Having just finished a stator remove and replace project for Salem, Barnhart was offered as a rigging provider with unique solutions. Our Philadelphia branch responded to the customer and requested an immediate site walk. Upon further discovery during the walk down, we realized that the internal structural walls of the scrubbers were wearing thin and at risk of collapse. Ultrasonic testing was used to survey the scrubber housing walls and confirmed that multiple sections had already lost almost 2/3 of the wall thickness. This was no longer a simple problem and immediate action was required. This scrubber design had a similar failure at the Wyodeck plant in Gillette, Wyoming, and an extensive report was developed on the root cause analysis and potential mitigation. Through the course of normal operation, the structural walls of the vertical scrubbers wore out over time and collapsed in on itself. At that point, the only option was to completely disassemble and rebuild the scrubber from the inside out. This is an expensive and risky endeavor requiring a heavy lift crane with a specialized 8-point octagonal lifting frame designed to the dimensional specs of the scrubber roof. However, the Wyodeck incident did confirm the customer's proposed preemptive solution. Steel plating could be added between the outer wall panels and the internal structure to support the thinning walls of the scrubbers. In order for the scrubbers to be reinforced, 360-degree scaffolding needed to be installed around each of the units. The wall panels needed to be removed, and the steel plates would be added to the frame to provide the required strength to reinforce the walls. This was the solution that our customer was looking to implement at their New Jersey facility. At this point, the customer was losing about $500,000 per week in lost power generation and penalties. The initial idea was to build up the existing structural steel of the scrubber from the base up to the penthouse. The lead time for the structural steel fabrication was months, not weeks. Under different circumstances, structural steel improvements would be the obvious answer, but the financial penalties and site safety considerations were enough to push the customer to seek alternatives. We knew early on that we were looking for an alternative to the stick-built steel option. We looked to the Barnhart toolbox for options ranging from large cranes to gantry, and a variety of high-capacity shoring alternatives. The problem was presented to the engineering team in Memphis, led by the efforts of Eric Barnhart and John Engberg.
And basically what we did is we took the engineering team through everything that was the issue on site, the thinning scrubber walls, what available structural steel we had down below, and how do we hold up a 600,000-pound scrubber, 2 of them, in a way where workers could safely access the area around it on scaffolding, right? So how do we support the entire scrubber unit without having it as an active load, on a heavy lift crane? So we knew we needed to design something with some real strength and stability.
We found ourselves continually circling back to the existing scrubber bases. These high-capacity steel platforms at the base of the scrubber units were already in place and rated to support the full weight of the scrubber system. Rather than build up around these bases, we wanted to incorporate them into our plan. The idea of using our modular lift towers was suggested early on in the whiteboard meetings, but we didn't think we had an available footprint. The eureka moment was using the existing scrubber base members as the floor for our system. The MLT bends were long enough to span up the sides of the scrubber, connected through nodes, with enough clearance to hang wire ropes around the scrubber walls. We wanted to take the existing support structure and temporarily expand it for the customer. Barnhart developed 2 identical modular lift tower frames to extend up and over the scrubber. On the bridge assembly of the towers, we installed Barnhart pull-up gantries with a web of high-capacity girders and 8 wire ropes to connect to the underside of the scrubber base ring. The gantries were used to provide the tension to the system. The wire ropes were designed and fabricated to a custom length to support the height of the scrubber units. All attachment points on the base ring were designed in collaboration with our customer and fabricated at a local shop. With all 8 legs of the octopus connected to the base ring, we were supporting the full weight of the scrubbers and eliminating the possibility of a wall collapsing blowout. Upon connection to the base rings, the immediate area was deemed safe for work and the scaffolding crews installed their platforms. The reinforcement steel plating was already on site and the customer's welding crew could begin reinforcing the walls. With a wide range of craft labor working on this project, Barnhart ensured safe work areas by starting each shift with a job hazard analysis that incorporated the different scopes on site.
With the support of Barnhart and then all the craft we had a lot of OEs, we had a lot of iron workers, we had different trades. Our lead superintendent for the job, him and our guys here and the local guys all worked together very well. We'd have our morning briefs, we'd go through exactly what we wanted to get done, what we expect to get done today, and we talk about, if something doesn't look right, stop.
The project clocked in over 350 plus engineering man-hours, 200 project management hours, and 2,500 man-hours in the field for the erection and disassembly for the 2 towers. There were 0 reportables for the execution of this scope. Barnhart utilized local service companies and vendors to accomplish this project with a short lead time. I&I Sling provided the customized wire ropes, and the crane support for the assembly-disassembly of the 2 scrubber MLT towers was provided by Maxim. We acted quickly on the customer's behalf with limited information and delivered high-capacity shoring system in a very short window. Barnhart received a purchase order to execute the work on October 14th and mobilized to site to build the towers on Tuesday the 28th. The towers were partially assembled at grade, then lifted into position with a pair of 500-ton cranes. This was an incredible team effort to assist a great customer with an emergent scope.
Well, the whole purpose of our MLT solution was to provide a safe environment for the plant to correct the issue. The walls of these scrubber towers had eroded over 2 decades. I think somewhere as thin as 2/3 of the material had gone away, so they're worried about them collapsing. Now you're talking 120-foot tall, 45-foot diameter scrubbers collapsing, and I think this has happened at a sister plant elsewhere in the country, so it was something that has happened, so they're really worried about that. And our solution, being able to put those MLTs in there, gave the customer ability not only to have us support it, but have their other crews come in. Had a bunch of Boilermakers working 24/7, welding in hundreds of stainless steel plates, and they couldn't do that unless the system was there to support it. So yeah, working at heights was a bit of a safety concern, but we had fall protection, we had a fall protection plan, we had lots of tie-off points along the way to make sure that we were OSHA compliant and Barnhart procedure compliance as well.
The plant was turned back online in December while still being supported by our equipment. The potential loss of revenue savings for the customer was close to 8 figures when compared to the structural steel alternative. The project was a win across the board for all stakeholders and a great example of a truly unique Barnhart solution. The Barnhart team is proud to present this project for your consideration.